being game number 1 of this best of 3 series, of course. And I gotta say, here I am jumping on, getting ready to stream and everything. I can't say I was 100% aware that this was taking place right now, but sure enough, it was. And so here I am deciding why the hell not. Let's cast some Dota 2 here, and it just so happens to be a final matchup here. So again, not a crazy amount of price on the line, especially with what the Dota scene is known for having, but one of the bigger things is that this is one of the first, not necessarily a major event, but this is one of the first bigger tournaments that's taking place post-TI6. I've actually casted a little bit throughout the group stages last week here. We've had some fun action. Now, these are 2 teams that I have not personally gotten the chance to cast yet, so looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. So, as you can see, we are in the draft here. We have Virtus.Pro on the Dire side, of course, Elements.Pro Gaming on the Radiant side. By the way, a quick recap here. They got to this point. Virtus.Pro, they actually defeated, who did they defeat? They defeated Friends, Friends, 2 games to nothing, I believe, in their semifinal matchup. And then Elements.Pro took out Vega Squadron, 2 games to nothing. I gotta say, I did get the chance to cast Vega Squadron last week. They looked really good. Vega Squadron looked really good, so I'm expecting Elements.Pro Gaming here to be pretty damn good themselves. Again, I can't sit here and say I know everything about these teams necessarily. This is one of the things that I am going to have to work on getting into the Dota 2 scene now, especially with a lot of these Russian teams, CIS region teams, European things like that. So I apologize on that end right off the bat. But I am looking forward to some very good Dota 2 action here. The band's kind of getting to the 4th band now for Elements.Pro Gaming, it looks like. So let's get a little bit closer look as far as what we had with the bands and picks. We have a Drow and a Shadow Demon band on the side of Dire, followed by a Kunkka and Mirana band on the side of Radiant. So Kunkka, Mirana has been such a strong combination. The trio, really, the Shadow Demon, Kunkka, and Mirana have all been this kind of trio. Any 2 of those heroes, it seems like you have a very, very strong combination of heroes. They can all play several different roles, especially something like that Kunkka and a Mirana, of course. And the setup of the arrow, the setup of the Q there from Kunkka, I'm blanking on the torrent that is from Kunkka. Very, very powerful. Now, as far as the picks that we had an Oracle first pick, I believe it was, followed by a Faceless Void Elder Titan. And then Husker was second pick by Elements. Now, this is this deadly combination I've been hearing so much about, and I've gotten the chance to actually see a little bit of it in action. I can understand why it's considered so powerful. Husker, of course, with how he works, wanting to be lower on that life here, the ultimate of his, as far as having the Oracle partner, the ultimate especially, that shared fate, or false promise. I don't know why I keep calling it shared fate. The false promise ability, such strong synergy with Husker. When that's all working together, it is a very deadly combination. So already Virtus.Pro going to have to figure out how to try to deal with that. Now they got a lot of lockdown already with the Faceless Void and Elder Titan. So I guess when you look on paper, that makes a lot of sense, right? Locking down the Husker, not allowing him to constantly get off those auto attacks. That deals so much damage with the lesser life that he's going to have. Having the huge stomp from Elder Titan, having the Faceless Void Chronosphere, a very strong start. I expect them to kind of keep that trend here with this 3rd pick. You figure right now it's going to be a Faceless Void off-lane most likely, Elder Titan probably in more of that 4 role, I believe is what he's usually ran as. So it looks like we need that mid, the core, and maybe the main support still. There we go with the main support of the 5 role of the Disruptor here. So it kind of continues that trend as well of this Wombo combo potential. The AoE synergy definitely on par, or definitely one of the better, stronger synergies you could have here for Virtus.Pro. Now, as far as, by the way, the following bands, what do we have? Juggernaut, Dazzle taken out by Dire. So they take out Dazzle, which I guess you also could have seen that with the Husker. Despite even having Oracle, you get both Dazzle and Oracle. That would just be absolutely ludicrous, right? With a Shallow Grave, the False Promise on top of that. Good luck dealing with the Husker. So at least they take out the Shadow Demon, not wanting to deal with that. AA is taken out by the Radiant, and then Invoker also taken out on their side. I feel like Invoker is kind of one of those heroes as well there's specific players that you really just do not want to let them get their hands on it. So I'm going to say that the side of VP, maybe one of their players is that. Again, I'm not too familiar with the players right now, especially for these 2 teams specifically. So I'm ready to chat here real quickly. So with not having a co-caster right now, obviously this is where chat definitely comes into play as far as perhaps helping me with some co-casting and some insight here. So every once in a while, kind of glancing on over to see what they're bringing to the table. They can Astral Husker during Oracle Ultimate, or just Astral once, and pure damage against Husker. Yeah. They can OD. Oh, you're suggesting that they can OD. Okay, gotcha, yeah. So getting that Obsidian Destroyer. So, I mean, they still need a mid. We'll see if that's a possibility here from VP. And it seems like, you know, again, Wombo Combo potential definitely could be set up as well with that ultimate of his. So, speaking of good initiation and strong ultimate power, Sand King taken by Elements right here. So, they get some solid initiation themselves now. The offlane Sand King more than likely. So they, too, probably need that 4 and the 2 roll here, you would figure. Yeah, I think I called the mid-roll 3 earlier. The mid-roll is considered 2, right? So offlane 3, and then 4 for roaming support, and 5 for the main support. So I got to get used to that as well with the number system right there. Yeah, the extra lockdown, I'm seeing suggestions of a Bane possibility even on the side of VP. I mean, with what they have right now, unless they plan to run a mid-Bane, which I guess isn't out of the question, it feels like they're going a little too... I don't know. I guess they still could. You know, having that extra lockdown on Husker is never a bad thing necessarily. But I don't know if Bane is going to be the go-to middle pick right here. Now, they actually go Slardar, and I believe he's usually seen more in the offlane himself. So I wonder if that means we're going to see more of the core Faceless Void here instead coming out from Virtus.Pro. But once again, you know, assisting with some added lockdown, of course, with that the Slithering Crush, as it's called. I'll stick to calling it the AoE stun or the stun here from Slardar. I don't know if caches necessarily say the full Slithering Crush. I guess it could just say Crush. But of course, the amplified damage on top of that, very good potential there. Omni Knight, so they're all about supporting this Husker. I feel like that's what you're usually going to see whenever you have a Husker in the lineup. Obviously the Oracle to start, and now they throw an Omni Knight on top of that. So the Repel, as well as the Guardian Angel, and of course that heal on top of it all is going to be very powerful synergy here for the side of Elements Pro Gaming. So
5 seconds
here we go with the final ban on either side. So what do they still need on Elements? They still need their Omni Knight's probably going to be the 4, right? So they still need their middle here, you would figure. I don't know exactly, again, whether they're going to do kind of a flavor middle ban or whatnot, but what would be good against them? Nothing's really coming to mind. Sure, Dragon Knight, they say. Take away as a mid potential. Dragon Knight, not too often pick up, from my understanding. We don't see him a whole lot, but again, whether or not that's one of those player-specific bans or not, I can't be too certain on. But so Radiant, though, now as far as who they're going to ban, you figure that Dire still needs their mid. I don't think Slaughter or Faceless Void is necessarily seen as a middle hero a whole lot. So I would figure that they're going to go mid-heavy ban here. You know, the Invoker already taken out. You know, things like the Kunkka from earlier on. So kind of sticking to that trend right here. Whether or not, you know, there was the possibility of the OD still maybe being a thing, but I guess the Repel from Omni Knight maybe takes away that potential a little more. So I don't know if they necessarily need to throw the ban on the OD right here. What about something like a Puck? I feel like a Puck on Virtus.Pro would actually be pretty strong. You know, it kind of fits that Wombo combo. Some extra added lockdown. The silence is always a strong potential with things like the Omni Knight. A Juggernaut is being thrown out there as far as a potential, I guess. So, Juggernaut's banned, right? Yeah, no, Juggernaut's banned. So, not going to see a Juggernaut here. They go Tinker with their final ban. So definitely one that you know, you could expect to see in that mid. Now that's not necessarily Wombo. That's more of the split push idea. They wanted to keep Radiant on their toes. They did not want to have to deal with that. So Elements now in their final pick. They don't have neither team has a whole lot of reserve time here. A little bit less on the side of Virtus.Pro. So
5 seconds remaining.
Elements gonna wait till the very end here. That's where you could argue. I'm not saying the Elements should have snapped pick there, but, you know, situations like this, if Elements was to snap pick their final pick, that would have really put the pressure on Virtus.Pro if they weren't sure just yet to, you know, have to choose quickly. But they're just going to use all their time here. Want to be sure. Oh, they go the OD themselves, actually, on the side of Elements.Pro Gaming. So, OD coming out. Now you got that final pick. Again, not much time to think about it for VP. What will it be in that 2 roll right here, knowing that they're going up against OD as well? So I don't know if OD necessarily makes Puck a little less likely. Again, I'm kind of just throwing that out there with my very limited insight already. So
Shadow Fiend.
Ooh, they go Shadow Fiend. So they, that's great synergy with the Slardar. It does give them a little extra carry potential. It really brings them to a Tricore lineup, right? Because they got the Slardar, they got the Faceless Void, and now they have the Shadow Fiend on top of that. So they're running more of this Tricore. The Wombo combo potential is definitely there with the Shadow Fiend on top of it. I almost wish I guessed that now because it actually does make a lot of sense. And I probably had potential there to make myself look really smart. But no, now with the pick on top of that, I can completely understand what Virtus.Pro is thinking with that Shadow Fiend pick as well. So, yeah, as far as armor is concerned on the side of elements, they're not going to have much of it this game. That's going to be something that they are going to be very vulnerable to. Ghost Scepters are probably going to be pretty important. For the side of elements on specific heroes for sure. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, we got Elder Titan, Slardar, and Shadow Fiend that are going to be dealing with the armor here. So again, that's going to be a difficult task to deal with if you're on the side of elements. So let me actually got to set up the free cam here. Make sure my settings are good. All right, we should be good. Game's going to be paused to start things off. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast here. This is a final matchup. Let me actually turn this option back on. I turned this off earlier because I was doing something else. But, yeah, so if I do have an alt-tab here, the sound will still play. There we go. I like this, though. I like this. I always love seeing this as it's called, and I've said it for a long time, too, the Wombo combo potential here. And Virtus.Pro definitely has a lot of that. But as far as the lanes go, I think that they're going to be as expected. Now, whether or not we maybe see some aggressive tri-lane even coming out on either side, I don't think that's going to be happening necessarily. But I cannot say for certain here. So, again, as far as who's playing what role, it's pretty obvious at this point. So let's kind of go over the lineups actually real quickly while we're in this pause. So we have Gogi, or is it just G1? I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyways, he's playing the OD right here. LeBron James, or LeBron Dota even, on the Oracle. We have, in the hands of Husker, we have Swift Ending playing the Husker right here. On the Omni Knight, we have the stand-in that is Milan playing him. And that means Mitch on the Sand King as he's headed to the offlane over here. As far as in the on VP side, Solo playing the Disruptor as that main support. Ramses 666 playing the Faceless Void right here. Shadow Fiend going to be in the hands of no one in that middle there. Pasha playing the Slardar. Not Pasha Biceps, I'm certain. And then Lit on the Elder Titan here. So that's who's playing what on either side. We see the rune control coming out about 30 seconds before these runes are going to be spawned here. The early vision, very heavy on the middle on either side, actually. When it comes to the vision right here, you see the award placed by both teams here in the middle. It's Disruptor. Oh, he's going to counter it. Well played. Makes the counter happen. And he goes ahead and destroys that ward aside. So now the vision a little bit less for the side of elements here. I mean, I gotta figure that's a fairly big deal, giving that advantage to the Shadow Fiend, who's all about adding up the charges here. What is it actually called in this case? It's called the Necromastery. Okay, that Necromastery, getting those souls added up here sooner than later, so we can start dealing more and more damage, of course. Fiery Martel, I am not available in-game, unfortunately. You have to watch on the stream to listen to me. This is just an unofficial broadcast. This is just me literally joining into the game, realizing it was happening, and figuring, let's cast some freaking Dota 2, right? So that's all I'm doing here. So unfortunately, cannot tune in in-game. Get rid of that, actually, speed of that. Okay, so anyways, it is going to be the OD versus the Shadow Fiend. The lane's kind of working out as expected, somewhat, I guess. Okay, Omni Knight's headed towards the top lane here early on. So, now, he hasn't been showing just yet, I believe, unless they spotted. Okay, well, they definitely know now. So, not much of a secret, but they're going 2v3 up here against this Elder Titan Faceless Void Disruptor. I feel like it could be a little dangerous. In fact, here we go. A lot of pressure being applied by Elder Titan. Faces Boy doing some hero blocking. He throws out a heal himself, but Milan's in a lot of trouble here as Disruptor also dealing the auto attack damage himself. Not going to be enough for a kill necessarily, but a lot of back and forth. In fact, Sand King, he went his passive first, and first blood on his solo there. The heal bomb doing so much damage to secure that kill. Wow, 2 versus 3, and they get the turn, and they take out Faceless Foot on top of that. What on earth is happening here at the top lane? I thought for sure it was going to be a dangerous spot for Elements, but they completely turn it on to VP. The heal, the purification as it's labeled, from Omni Knight doing so much damage. I think it really caught them off guard there. And it is already a 2-0 start in favor of Elements. That is a very poor start if you're VP, especially with your Faceless Void dying on top of that. Now Sand King has that Burrow Strike. Yeah, they got those kills without a freaking Burrow Strike on Sand King. I feel like that shouldn't happen. I feel like that should never happen in a 2 versus 3 especially. So I'm still a little bit in shock that actually took place right there as it did. But alas, it is what it is. You see Astral Imprisonment coming out from the OD right here, just simply to harass and prevent some last hitting. Again, very important against the Shadow Fiend. Look at Elder Titan throwing some harassment meanwhile in the middle lane. Gonna poke on in there. No stomp just yet for the Elder Titan. We're still being level 1. So yeah, I guess the presence isn't as deadly as it could be definitely up here. For the time being. So the decision to send the Omni Knight Sand King, the Omni Knight with the Sand King in the long lane, clearly paying off in the hindsight now, despite my guess of it being a very dangerous spot perhaps. You see even stealing some creep farm off to the side before they fall back. Disruptor harassing a little bit there with that Q, the Thunder Strike of his. Going to push out Omni Knight from the jungle, but damage already done. Let's put some last hits down. I apologize for that. Make sure that's up there. Middle lane, we got 11-2 on the OD versus the 9-4 Shadow Fiend here. So the slight advance for OD. I would figure that's probably expected. Again, Shadow Fiend definitely needs a little bit of time before he's going to start getting online. The more charges, of course, he has, the more auto attack damage he will be dealing. And then the raises start coming into play as well. So as the game picks up, I expect Shadow Fiend to definitely start overtaking the OD. Perhaps Slaughter. Whew, he got really low right there. He is burning. Is it going to be enough? Oh my god, it is. Slaughter gets taken out. And a 3-0 lead in favor of Elements. What a strong start for Elements right here, man. Again, this is a team that took out Vega Squadron 2-0, and from my little experience so far, Vega Squadron last week at least, they looked really good. So I can't say I'm too surprised to see some very impressive play on their part early on, but nonetheless, they have the strong start here. So a 3-0 lead about 4 minutes into the game now. Really need the Shadow Fiend to have a very effective start, is safe to say, especially with the way things are going now. Curious to see how we see this Shadow Fiend built. Again, I don't know exactly what the meta is considered to be with a Shadow Fiend. I would assume it has something to do with either the Blink Dagger or that Shadow Blade, depending on the direction that the hero is going in. But we'll see what no one here does go, as he's going to bottle up that bounty rune. Good job by the Elder Titan protecting it. Elder Titan that's rotated to the bottom, by the way. So I guess Slaughter, he was just not comfortable in the bottom lane. Not that Elder Titan's going to be much better, but he's able to maybe get a little bit more better harassment, maybe some last hits with that Astral Spirit in a safer spot. He does have the Windlace as well on top of those boots and moving at that 380 movement speed. Gonna perhaps put him in a slightly better position right there. So
It was not your fate.
see the harassment continuing with the imprisonment there. That's a little damage harassment. I guess it's not the... It's 160 mana, so it's not like very cheap, but he does have double Null Talisman early on. That makes a little more sense. Not going the bottle. Again, this is me kind of learning on the fly right here whether or not this is a typical thing or not. But, oh, top lane, by the way, Solo's in trouble. Sand King chasing him down with that repel on him. Nothing that they could do for the time. Faceless Void only level 5 as well. He should be fine, but how about this pressure, man? You also have the Degen Aura on Omni Knight as well, so if he happens to be nearby, that's slow going to be kicking in on top of that. But yeah, between the Burrow Strike and that passive, the Caustic Finale, obviously plenty of damage from the Sand King right here, and what is now looking to be a 4-0 start. So in the pocket of VP, they do have that Wombo combo once again, so I definitely, not that this game is getting out of hand and over yet by any means, but that's still going to be there for Virtus.Pro. So despite, not off to the strongest lead, once the level 6s start kicking in, we'll see if that definitely comes into play. The Chronosphere being the big one, of course. The Shadow Fiend with his Requiem of Souls, also another big one on top of that. And then, of course, as the game picks up, the amp damage between Slardar, the aura of both Shadow Fiend as well as Elder Titan. So, slow start, but it's not the end of the road necessarily for this dire side here for VP. See Oracle taking a stun, but he's going to be fine as he runs away. So just harassing in the jungle right there. Husker, though, 36 and 11 creep farm. He's followed shortly by, in fact, the top 3 right now are all on the side of Radiant over here. So that's when you know it's not a good start here for VP even further. Obviously, Shadow Fiend and Faceless Void not too far behind necessarily, but technically a slight advantage for the for Elements over here. Did I say Vega Pro? I might have said that. Virtus.Pro, of course. VP, a very familiar organization in all of esports, really, not just Dota 2, of course. You see some bottle handoff coming out right here as Shadow Fiend, they're going to run into the jungle now. The Sand King and Omni Knight going to make the initiation, though. Popping the epicenter. It does go off right there. Shadow Fiend taking a lot of damage. He got his own raises off, though, and Omni Knight will fall. So the epicenter being level 1. Not enough damage at this time. And with that, Elder Titan also being nearby, able to assist. There comes the entrapment from the Disruptor. However, the Burrow strike out. Just enough mana to do so for the Sand King. Are we going to see a raise landed right here? It's a level 4 raise. I think it should be enough if he can land it. He's going to go for it. No, it's just out of range. And Sand King will survive. So at least good getaway in the end there from the Sand King. Only settling with the 1 kill, but well played. Nonetheless, as there's the imprisonment here now on a Shadow Fiend. OD throws out the big nuke with the ultimate. It's not enough damage now despite the auto attack. Chronosphere, no, not going to be used just yet. Actually, all 5 are in here. And this OD, that's, I don't think he's getting away. He's going to pop the imprisonment. Okay, he does force them to use a Chronosphere at least. But in the background, they do pick off Shadow Fiend. Oracle's here. Maybe this is not going to work out as good as I thought. OD, no, the stun proc goes off between Slardar and Faceless Void. That was a very, very greedy poor chance. But with the repel up, he is going to survive it all. As they come out on top of this exchange, 1 for 1, making it 2 for 1 as Faceless Void is also picked off to finish it off right there. That's from the previous recap, but obviously you see Faceless Void on top of that. And now the gold lead, yeah, look at that, over a 4,000 gold lead and over a 3,000 experience lead, and we're only 9 minutes into this game right here. The fact that OD lived, that was ridiculous. The Sanity's Eclipse doing plenty of damage, but also throwing in the imprisonment on himself, allowing Omni Knight to get there was absolutely huge. By the way, middle lane looks like Omni Knight gets taken out, so sticking around a little too long there. Elder Titan credit for the kill, but Shadow Fiend, I'm sure, being a big part of that as well, as he just finishes his power treads, but at least slowing things down a little bit here. Yeah, Omni Knight and Oracle, though, you can't be very surprised that OD lived there. With that said, between, again, the imprisonment delaying as much as he did, as well as then those 2 very solid support healers coming out, he was able to live. And Husker, that's the greatest thing, I think, for this Radiant team here in Elements. Husker's just like, you guys do your thing mid, I'll just continue to dominate free farm the bottom lane. And you see what he has right here. He already has the armlet. He's got the Morbid Mask on top of that. So well on his way to very strong farm here. 4,600 gold net worth currently. His teammate in Sand King is following up with 3,800. In fact, he already has a Blink Dagger to go with those Tranquil Boots right here. The start here for Elements and Mitch especially. I mean, obviously the first blood kill that he got was huge. And here we go with the Burrow strike in, and down goes the Elder Titan. How about that, making use of the Blink Dagger right away. Now, this Ward of Sight was here, so it saw him coming over initially, but by the time he blinked in, obviously Elder Titan could not react, and look at that, he blinks away as well from the Slardar rotating over. So Slardar, he's been working in the jungle for a while. He's not even level 6 yet. Gotta say, I don't want to, I don't want to seem grim here by any means, but man, this Elements team looking so strong. And again, knowing this, especially they have this cheese combination, I guess you can kind of refer to it as, with the Oracle Husker, the Omni Knight on top of that. We haven't even seen that kicked in yet. Again, Husker just doing the free farm. The Helm of the Dominator is officially purchased on him as well right here. Yeah, for those people that are asking about the MD2L, guys, that starts tomorrow night officially. Obviously, it's in China, so the hours are going to be a little bit awkward for the North American European region for us. Now, I'm not going to be there until Wednesday night, so tomorrow night it's going to start. I believe Peter Pandam and Grant Grantsman plan to start their stream tomorrow, but I will not be there until the following night. So, but I'll be there throughout the whole week, all the way through Saturday night into that Sunday morning there through the final. So, I really am looking forward to that, guys. Looking forward to that. Husker, he's like, all right, I got to repel. I'm going to be fine. Stun meanwhile, on to Disruptor in the background. Big Chronosphere, though, catches 3. Here we go with the Wombo combo. In comes Shadow Fiend, the news coming out. The Elder Titan splitting the earth on top of that. Out comes a Guardian Angel, about the big damage dealer to Husker. He is already dead. Go One is in trouble as well. They take out the Omni Knight. Big counter epicenter, though. Both sides getting extra low. The Shadow Fiend versus the OD. He has Thunder here. Down goes the OD, but so does Shadow Fiend. It is now just the Sardar going up against the Sand King. A 4-for-4 exchange right there. What an unbelievable fight, and the Sand King is going to finish it off for the cleanup. A 5-for-4 fight, only one survivor, last man standing is that Sand King. What an epic fight there in the middle lane. Both sides, that initiation with the Chronosphere was superb from the Faceless Boy. The fact that they dropped Husker as quickly as they did, you would think that would have been a one fight for VP, but the counter epicenter, the Guardian Angel definitely doing work on top of that. I'm sure the False Promise was used throughout that as well. Maybe, maybe not. It was used. I'm not exactly sure it was used on, but point being, the counterplay initiation worked out beautifully. And look at Sand King as well now. He is level 11 on top of that, so he's already got his level 2 epicenter here. He get added up some big levels throughout that, and now they're just going to do the Roshan here. And I don't see VP stopping this. They do not have any ultimates now, so without their Wombo combo potential, and this makes a lot of sense by Elements here. They're very aware of that themselves, of course. They are going to secure a Roshan kill as a result of that. As Elder Titan's going to do everything he can to harass right here. Maybe go for a steal of sorts. That's not going to happen, though. The Earth Splitter, not going to be enough damage, and the Aegis is picked up by the Husker. So he's going to take some heals from Oracle in the meantime. And now the heavy pings here down onto Disruptor. Disruptor needs to get back. The haste on OD. He's going to trap in the Imprisonment. I don't think you're getting away from this one, Disruptor. Throws out the Kinetic Field. Okay, maybe that is going to be enough. I guess it is. So, the Kinetic Field doing enough work right there for the Disruptor. This is stronger than I would have given credit for. But they're already having to deal with this Aegis. Oh yeah, the OD Ultimate, I'm sure, again, a big part of that. Same with these Eclipse. That is their big damage dealer counter. Obviously, the Epicenter does damage over that time, and it helps with initiation purposes, but I'm sure OD was a big part of that damage being done as well, so. Shadow Fiend, what has he been going for, by the way? Not to get too caught up on only Elements here. He did go the Shadow Blade. Okay, so we are going to see the Shadow Blade route. Wanted to assist with that right click as well. Has the escape tool with the Shadow Blade now as well. Now, again, they do have the Chronosphere initiation, so maybe with that on top of it, it makes a little more sense to not go the Blink Dagger route. Whether or not he still gets it, I think could be up in the air, but a Blink Dagger on Pasha here is definitely going to be seen, and he finally almost has it. So, again, there is still hope for VP despite the start from Elements. In fact, you look at the net worth, it's kind of gone back down. I mean, it's staying even, if anything, right now after that big fight that took place. And the experience actually is pretty minimal right here, so I guess you really have to look at the last fight, and as epic as it was of a comeback for Elements, I mean, it did end up being only one person surviving in the end, so it's not like they dominated that fight there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
The Shadow Blade, again, being picked up, though, and then I guess there's talk that he's going to be turning that into the Silver Edge here. Happens to be really strong against the Husker as well,
Radiant's
so
bottom tower is
disable their
under
passive
attack.
abilities. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, so
Dire's top
the Silver
tower
Edge
is under attack.
potentially going to be a very key item to get for the
Radiant's
Shadow
bottom
Fiend right
tower
here.
is under attack.
Look at this top push, though, from Elements. We're going to the objective game now. Another team wanting to fight just yet. Now, all the ultimates are up for both sides.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Elder Titan, that aura of his, the natural order, is level 2 currently.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not maxed out just yet, but still doing plenty for the team. As this top tower,
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
looks like it is going to be taken out with fairly ease right here. Now, the push to the bottom lane also happening.
Top tower is under attack.
As there we go with the invulnerability, but Shadow Fiend is pushing that bottom tower.
Radiant structures
As there goes the fortifying itself,
Radiant's
but
bottom tower is under attack.
no one's porting back actually, so he's just going to get this tower kill. You know, if you're behind, VP will accept these trades, right? As long as they're getting, you know, the same tower trades, that's going to favor VP, you'd figure. So Element's having some decision to make right here. They are going to push in all the way to the base now, so this is where you have to defend it for VP, but they do have strong initiation. You see way in the background. Where is the Sand King, by the way? Okay, he is right here, actually. Look at the flank. Oh, this could be big. Disruptor and Slaughter in the back. They're gonna jump in. Slaughter with the double stun. They're going for a couple. Chronosphere meanwhile off to the side. It didn't catch anyone though, but it might not matter. The splitters. Down goes 3 heroes. Husker down as well, but he has the Aegis coming back up, and it's a 2 versus 5 right now. Odie in the background still has his ultimate. Goodies are right there. Not the biggest follow-up though. Husker, he's on the run with that. It's supporting cast. He's much weaker. He jumps back in. So screw. We gotta make a play. They are gonna throw the big time. All 5 are dead. The Wamo combo's real. What a flank coming out from VP, and a 5-for-0 exchange in their favor. I'm not even sure what Husker was thinking at the very end right there. That just seemed absolutely silly to go back in. I mean, that was definitely a lost cause at that point, yet he decided to try to make a play. Man, I mean, that was even with the Faceless Void Chronosphere missing. I don't think it hit anybody. I don't think the Faceless Void actually hit anybody with the Chronosphere, but that just shows you how much potential they have between their ultimates on the side of VP, between the Requiem of Souls, between the splitting the Earth Splitter, as it's called here for Elder Titan. Such strong synergy, and then yeah, the Disruptor even on top of that with the Static Storm, also doing plenty of work throughout. So, what a fight though. The Slaughter initiation is obviously what did it, coming from behind. He was glimpsed. Okay, I apologize. That makes a lot more sense. I apologize. That makes... You know what? I didn't see the blink, and now that I'm looking at him, he doesn't have a blink dagger, so he was glimpsed back in. Okay. So that's what really did it in. And obviously at that point, he didn't have a choice. He had to fight right there. So getting glimpsed back in, making it the 5-for-0, absolutely insane for VP right there. So very well played on their part. They're going to push now here in the middle. Is Elements. But, man, talk about having a lead and feeling so comfortable in the beginning. But that's what I'm talking about. In the back pocket of VP, they still had this Wombo combo potential. You see the Disruptor at the top lane, by the way. He's going to earn himself to stay alive, and that's going to be a but at what cost for Omni Knight. He goes to make a play for a kill, and it does not work out. Now here's a Smoker to see it as well. They have an advantage. With Omni Knight dead, that's a big target they've lost right here, and all the ultimates are back up on the side of VP. Not going to be able to chase. Oh, they pulled the glimpse back onto Odie right here. He gets pulled back, and he is in trouble. He throws the imprisonment on himself, but not much they can do to help him. He goes down. You see Slaughter trying to pick more in the back, but obviously good play by Elements there not to commit any more. They realized at that point, you know, cut their losses and let bygones be bygones. Someone has suggested that Chronosphere did hit Sand King. I saw Sand King there initially. It didn't look like the Chronosphere caught anyone, though. Whether he blinked in as well, but maybe I am wrong on that. Maybe it did actually catch the Sand King as well. But
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Again, obviously the point is that after all of that happened, the VP synergy just worked out beautifully, and this game has completely shifted in favor of VP now. You have the BKB on a Shadow Fiend right here. The full 10 seconds, good to go for him. You see up here Slaughter. Yeah, this is something I've been actually using a bit of this myself now, the Infused Raindrop, to get a good understanding of how it truly works. And my God, this item's so strong, it feels like. It does take up that inventory slot, of course, but at the same time, for a hero like a Slaughter, who's going to be putting himself in the front lines, jumping in and throwing out that crush and kind of being pretty vulnerable, it seems like just a nice tool to have to be like, all right, well, at least I'm not going to die as quickly and I don't have to worry about, you know, activating it or anything. It just passively happens, so. How's the vision looking, by the way? Yeah, you see the Dire side, very aggressive wards coming out now. Good news for them. As far as the Radiant side, not the same story. They do got the one way up here. That's going to be running out in a minute and a half, though, and you can tell it's not something that's from prior. That big 5-for-0 exchange really happened. So it does make you wonder, looking in hindsight now, if Elements truly needed to push uphill. I mean, again, when you look at the team's synergy, when you look at teams wanting to fight, it feels like that VP has better synergy as the team as a whole. Now, the counterplay, again, could be big, as we saw in the previous fight to that, with the Sand King getting an initiation and whatnot. So, obviously, that's what they were banking on, but and it was just a fantastic initiation and a play on the part of VP to get in there and make it work as they did. But the decision to try to push right there, rather than just continue to play more of a passive game, continue to farm with Husker, getting him bigger and better. A little curious about that for sure, but you do see the Silver Edge finished on Shadow Blade, so Shadow Phoenix, excuse me, was the Shadow Blade. But again, the big part of that, being able to stop the disobeying their passive abilities and reducing their damage output on top of that. I mean, that really seems like I'm going to counter Husker item here. So definitely a very, very solid choice on the side of Shadow Fiend right here as they push the secondary tower at the top lane.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But now if you're Elements, because now you're in the spot of they are not comfortable pushing uphill. I mean, not that they were before, but with now the farm adding up more for VP, they have more of those initiation tools. Again, the items coming out on multiple heroes that are pretty big. In fact, a Yule's Scepter just finished on Sarda right here, so nice aggressive tool also to help CC specific heroes. Oracle needs to be a little careful, but I guess Husker is up here. Husker, by the way, does have the Heaven's Halberd itself, so he's got the ability to disarm here. As well to go with the Armlet and the Dragon Lance.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, bottom lane. Got to be careful, though, because, again, when you think there may be one, there probably isn't. Now, they do have the vision up here. They see the Shadow Fiend with the Sentry Ward. They are going to catch him out over the back of the Chronosphere. And Kid is at least one with the Husker. Meanwhile, out comes the ultimate coming out from Shadow Fiend. Husker, though, holding his ground now with the auto attack from the first time he's been able to. False promises on him, but as soon as that wears off, he just melts right there. Yule Scepter in the back on Oracle. He is going to go down. No, actually, heals the last second. He'll be fine. Disruptor the only one picked off, though, on the side of VP. Oracle, it's just a matter of time, it feels like. Mitch gets caught as well. He goes down. And another cleanup for Virtus.Pro right here. A 5-for-1 exchange, only losing their main support. And look at the present they get in Roshan now. On top of that, this Sentry Ward spotting Shadow Fiend. They initiated, at least one did, but obviously the follow-up could not get in as well. A great play by VP to get in the background and stop the supporting cast. And again, when it just comes to these team fights, it just will favor VP. It feels like. So, well played on their part. And now they have the 19-13 lead. But more importantly, I mean, look at the graphs now. Just completely swaying in Virtus.Pro's favor at this time. The experience lead, the big one there. 15,000 experience lead. Over 15,000 experience lead. Even on their side. As far as some bigger items coming out. We talked about Shadow Fiend already. In fact, he probably has a good amount of gold saved up. Yeah, 3,100 gold saved up there. You see a mechanism onto their Titan in the meantime. Faceless Void, the Fuso Blade that Vladimir's offering. So, and then Solo doing his thing on Disruptor, you know, these typical support items. But on the side of Elements, you know, you got the Veil of Discord here on OD with the Dragon Lance. But he's still going to need some work to do. What item does he... The Dragon Lance turns into Heaven's Halberd, right? Oh, no, the Hurricane Pike, that's right. Turns into the Hurricane Pike, so he wants to get that Hurricane Pike, I'm sure. Very strong item. In fact, he has a recipe, apparently. Okay, there's the Forest Staff. So he is going to have the Hurricane Pike, so that will be a good item here on the side of Elements. But it only means so much if you can't avoid these ultimates, which is so difficult to do right here. So that's something that they're just having to deal with, though, throughout this game. As VP group it up as a team, as they just are comfortable doing, of course.
Radiant's middle tower.
And they're
is
going to
under
push
attack.
in the middle tower
Radiant's
right
middle
there.
tower
So
has fallen.
there it is, delivered to the OD, the Hurricane Spike. And again, it just doesn't feel like in a game like this that's necessarily going to be a huge game changer, unfortunately. I do see the Lincolns now on a faceless void as well. There's a stun in with the Burrow Strike. Quick Talbot away, though, or a quick Force Staff away, excuse me.
Radiant's middle tower has
Totally
fallen.
said that first. Kinetic Field thrown out to kind of box out the Radiant side. Shadow Fiend with that Aegis, he's feeling comfortable. Oh, they land a Stomp, actually, but there's the quick Purge onto Swift Ending from the Oracle. Get him out of that Stomp. I guess the Oracle can kind of be seen as a counter to Elder Titan as well, with that said. Being able to remove that sleep so easily. As there's another one. It's going to be fine. That was Oracle runs over, takes him out again.
Radiant structures
But they're just
are
slowly
fortified.
chipping away. Obviously they're fine with this, though. There's a jump in face of this boy. They're going to catch Husker somewhat, but no Chronosphere. Not forcing it. Oh, they actually got the false promise to be used. That's huge. And now here comes the full-up initiation. They jump on Omni-Knight in the background. Omni-Knight, no Guardian doesn't resolve the Split Earth. And that should do it. The Wombo combo continues to be real buyback from Husker. But I think it's just delaying the inevitable right here. Everyone's still one alive. Odie goes down despite his new toy that he just got. You see Husker jumping away. I think that's going to do it. GG, well played. Game one will go to VP. The start that Elements had here, man. Husker, the free farm, the, what was it, a 4-0, 5-0 start even, 4 Elements. They somehow won the top lane in a 2 versus 3 with the Sand King Omni-Knight up there, getting the first blood and continuing momentum. And then it all came down. Obviously, the middle fight, they even came out on top with the last man standing of Sand King. But then that top push, they tried to push on the uphill very early on in the game, and it's such a risky move, especially against all this initiation. And clearly it backfired. I mean, again, very good play on the side of VP, too. Not that that was a, just all throw by Elements by any means. It's good execution on VP's side. But you really got to look back at that top push and wonder, if Elements really had their best intentions in mind right there or not. So, anywho, that is going to do it for game number one. So, appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to wrap this up for VOD purposes here. So, once again, I was Breaky CPK. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this cast. If you did, be sure to hit that subscription button below for the YouTube channel. Obviously, you can go to the my Twitch as well, twitch.tv/BreakyCPK. Hit that follow button or all the social medias, all Breaky CPK for Twitter, Facebook, and so on. So, thanks for tuning in, though. Game number one in the books here. Game number two, it's going to be interesting here. What is the BTS Series European Finals coming at you? Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. All right. Oh, what's up, Peter? Yeah, let me, here. I do see your message here.